Hello everyone, welcome to the second Singerreise video podcast. My name is Jonathan Sylvia and today we're going to do a quick overview of the work Winterreise. Okay, let's get started. Winterreise is a song cycle in German composed in 1827 by Franz Schubert using a text by Wilhelm Müller. Easy enough? Well, why don't we take another closer look at that? Winterreise is the title for the entire group of songs. Now there's actually 24 songs in it and each song has its own title and number, but collectively the work is called Winterreise. Schubert gave it an opus number of 89, and here opus just simply means work, so this is Schubert's 89th work. There was also a German musicologist by the name of Deutsch who decided to give it a Deutsch number of 911. And that's really just because musicologists like to catalog things. It's a song cycle. That means that there are common themes amongst all of the songs, and that there's even a sort of narrative that happens when you go from song to song to song. That makes it a little bit more important to try and do as many of the songs as possible in one performance, and it also is important to do the songs in the correct order. Now Schubert actually composed two of these. The first one was Die schöne Müllerin, just a few years before Winterreise. It was such a big hit, I guess, that he just had to do it again. I also wanted to mention that there's something else out there called the Songset. Now, a Songset are songs that are published by a single composer together, and sometimes they share a common theme. But they don't have that narrative element that a song cycle does. So you can kind of think of a song cycle being a type of song set, but it doesn't quite work the other way around. Winterreise was composed in German and is considered art song. That term art song basically means a classical piece of music that is written for a solo voice and some sort of accompaniment. That accompaniment is often a piano, but it could also be a guitar or a chamber orchestra. German art song is called Lieder. One German art song is a Lied, and multiple German art songs are called Lieder. And while we're at it, don't forget to capitalize that L, and don't confuse it with the word Leid, which means bad luck, and don't confuse it with Liebe or Liebe, which means dear or beloved. That's caught me more than once. It was composed in 1827. Schubert actually published it in two separate chunks, and each chunk has 12 songs. The first chunk was published in February of 1827, and the second chunk was published in October of 1827. But really those dates are so close together that we just think of it as one complete work. That time period was known as the Romantic era. And the word romantic doesn't quite mean what we think it means. It really doesn't have anything to do with love, it's just the name of that era, or that time period. Really, Wikipedia could tell you a lot more about the Romantic era than I can cover in this video. I might actually address it in a later video. For now, though, I'll mention that Winterreise has a lot of the trademark stereotypical markers of being a Romantic era piece. In fact, it's actually one of those pieces that defines the era. Okay, Franz Schubert. Now there's a lot that I could say about Franz Schubert as well, but for now I'll keep it to just the most relevant bits. He lived from 1797 to 1828, but if you do the math on that, that means he only lived to the young age of 31, and that he died just 1 year after Winterreise was composed. In the end, it was syphilis that got him. It's a chronic illness that he was suffering under for the last few years of his life, including during Winterreise. And there are some that say that that gives Winterreise a little bit of a darker color. Now, even though he only lived to the age of 31, he composed hundreds of Lieder. And when he wasn't doing that, he was composing symphonies and pieces for the piano and for chamber orchestra, you name it. He was a very prolific composer. Finally, the text. Schubert went back to a poet he was already quite familiar with by the name of Wilhelm Müller. The two of them had already worked together on Schubert's other song cycle, Die schöne Müllerin. In the case of Winterreise, Schubert used poems that were published in 1823 and 1824, just a few years prior. However, Müller himself never actually got to hear Winterreise performed. He died in 1827. And just like Schubert, he died at a very young age, only 32 years old. I think there might have been something in the water over there. So that's Winterreise at a glance. I hope this video has helped you understand the piece, at least a little bit. And if you have any anecdotes or fun facts to share about Winterreise yourself, go ahead and add them to the comments down below. Anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.